didn't you already boycott the NFL like 3 other times? So when you worried about who's performing, you already boycotted it. You don't have to watch. Leaders of the Young Republicans group throughout the country. There was a Telegram chat. It got leaked, and believe it or not, there's a lot of racist shit in this chat. This whole Gaza thing is, number one, it's a moneymaker for a lot of fucking people, and it's a land grab. He lost it on it. So he said, I don't want to see y'all till Christmas. I'm seeing shades of that old Roman Reigns, so I'm hoping we're getting that back. The Cena AJ match was, I mean, no pun intended, it was phenomenal. Bro, have some respect for yourself. Like, you're out there, you're living a lot of people's dreams. You're an ex-quarterback, and now you're getting paid to fly around the country every single week and commentate on NFL football games, and your bitch ass is out there getting so fucking drunk that you attack a 69-year-old man. Dude, fucking have some respect for yourself. All right. Welcome to Mic Check. We had a crazy week this past week. I appreciate all y'all watching Mic Check. I appreciate all the views and comments on the first 2 weeks. As you can see, a little bit of a different setup here. I got a podcast set up in my house now. This is where I do the lives from, and I've been working my ass off trying to get this thing set up so I can deliver more content anytime. So anyways, let's hop right into it. There's a lot of shit going on, and so one of the big things last week, let me take a step back. So I had posted a video about Columbus Day, and then somebody and by the way, fuck Columbus Day. Somebody on TikTok was like, why are you going political? This is only comics. You should only talk about that. And here's the thing. I'm going to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about on this podcast, my other podcasts, and my other podcasts. Unless there's something y'all want me to talk about. Interns, viewers, all of you. But to get into some political shit, this past week we saw the, ceasefire peace agreement over in Gaza, and I don't know how much you guys follow this shit. I've been doing some deep dives into this, and like a lot of things, I guess it's kind of going to be the theme today. People lie, believe it or not. And the funny part about this whole peace agreement thing is, Trump thinks he should get a Nobel Peace Prize for this. Now, if you start digging into it, maybe some of you already know this, but believe it or not, I say us, but it's the country I live in. I don't have any say over this outside of I pay taxes and my money goes towards this shit. It's kind of like this. Imagine your next door neighbor set your house on fire. Okay. Imagine I'm the one that gave him the gas because he ain't had money for it. I gave him the gas. I gave him the matches, the blowtorch, whatever the fuck. I even maybe told him where the best spot would be to start the fire, right? Then he ran out of gas, and I gave him some more. And then I show up once your house is burnt down with a bucket of water, helping you put out the remaining bits of that fire, and you thank me. That's kind of, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's kind of what just happened overseas. And the fucked up part is, I believe it's all a land grab, and it ironically, this happened the same week as Columbus Day. Somebody who I use we loosely, he's celebrated for discovering America. I had some asshole going back and forth with me on TikTok, like, well, he stepped foot in South America. It's the continent. It's the same thing. I'm like, hey, dumbass, South America is its own continent. North America is another continent. I live in North America. I live in the United States of America. And where I live, there's a bunch of statues of this motherfucker everywhere. And it's still taught in schools that he discovered this continent, and he fucking didn't. Now, did he hit the seas and did he discover something? I No, I guess yes, he hit the seas. Yes, if we're gonna give him any credit, yes, he got his raggedy fucking European smelling ass. And no offense to anyone in Europe today, but back in the day, your ancestors, the motherfuckers didn't like showers and shit like that. But that's besides the point. Yes, he hopped his raggedy ass in a boat. He sailed the ocean. That's cool. Was he the first? No. Vikings came over here about 500 years prior to that. I mean, it's a bunch of bullshit. But it's just funny that this happened the same week that we celebrate Columbus. We have another white fella taking credit for shit that he really didn't do. Matter of fact, I feel like, based on what I've heard, now, hey, fact check everything. Based on the fact checking I've done, the research I've done, he did nothing but encourage this, allow it to happen. Matter of fact, when most of the UN was against what was going on, he kind of stood by the sidelines. The Israel, we have given Israel an open line of credit. This is fucked up shit. To purchase military weapons from us. The only kicker is you have this open line of credit, but you can only purchase these weapons from us. So this whole Gaza thing is, number one, it's a moneymaker for a lot of fucking people, and it's a land grab. Now, so they very close to, and I guess genocide has its, certain criteria. And supposedly what was going on wasn't complete genocide. But, I mean, they were fucking slaughtering people. They were killing people. They wiped out the whole shit, most of the buildings, the hospital. And now that they've killed a good chunk of people, they've cleaned out the city for the most part. They're allowing the natives to go back or the residents to go back. But they're already talking about rebuilding, right? Because now you got to rebuild it. What are they going to do when they rebuild it? Well, they're going to keep some of it for their fucking selves. There was a plan, a presentation that's been shared with the Trump administration. They list like 30 companies that supposedly are part of this plan to rebuild. Here's the kicker. A good amount of these companies were like, we ain't a part of this. We never said we were down with this. Some of the companies named, IKEA was one. So IKEA came out and they're like, we didn't authorize this. We had nothing to do with this shit. Wired, so website Wired contacted 28 of the companies that were shown alongside this proposal. And a good chunk of them, like the IKEA spokesperson said, this was surprising and new information for us. We have not approved the use of the IKEA logo in this context. It is not associated with this proposal and did not consent use. OTCMC also said that. Intercontinental Hotel Groups said that they have no involvement in this document and is not pursuing any plans connected to it. So I say all that to say everybody's fucking lying to us in a nutshell is what it sounds like. But it goes back, I think when this idea was out there, that when it was first heard that this is just a land grab and, the U.S., Trump wants to maybe put a Trump hotel over there in Gaza and all this bullshit. People thought it was tinfoil talk. They thought we were on other stuff. They thought that's they thought it was bullshit. But it looks a lot like that's what the fuck is going to happen. And, what drives this? I don't know. I do know that, I guess, sidebar, it ties, what I'm going to talk about next ties into the whole Bad Bunny situation. They keep changing the narrative. So first, day one, the whole reason why certain people didn't want Bad Bunny to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, it was the fact that he wasn't American. Then they learned that he was. Then it was the whole, well, he doesn't speak English, and like, well, he does. His songs are in Spanish. Yeah, well, we want to be able to sing along to the songs. Like, dude, you don't even fucking know the songs, so how would you be singing along to them? And also, didn't you already boycott the NFL like 3 other times? So what are you worried about who's performing? You already boycotted it. You don't have to watch. Now, the latest is, well, do you really want someone performing who, dresses in dresses? He wears women's clothes. He wears women's clothing. And I'm like, dude, I don't really give a fuck what he wears. I know that his music is good. I know that a handful of other Super Bowl performers also wore women's clothing. I mean, Steven Tyler of Aerosmith. I think he only shops in the women's section. U2, that Prince, Michael Jackson, the whole deal. I have come to my own resolution that the reason why certain people that look a certain way don't want Bad Bunny to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show is they are racist. And racism is something that, like Adrian says, it's just like air. It's there. But the people who are the most racist deny the fact that they're racist. Like that's not it. It's something. It's not it at all, Mike. No, it's they deny that it exists. Now, many of you know my family dynamic. I'm white. My wife is Hispanic. My kids are mixed. So I've seen in the area I grew up in, I was the minority. So I've seen racism my whole life from all different sides. So it does exist. I don't know if you guys saw this, the young Republicans, they had a group chat that somehow leaked. Leaders of the Young Republicans group throughout the country. There was a Telegram chat. It got leaked, and believe it or not, there's a lot of racist shit in this chat. A lot of jokes, a lot of jokes about gas chambers, jokes about slavery, things about Jewish people, things about black people. I mean, it was, and I think even in the chat, somebody said, where is it? Oh, right here. If we ever had a leak of the chat, we would be cooked for real, for real. There's stuff like, I'll read some of them. You guys can look them up and check them out yourself. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. When do we bring that side out? We're giving nationals too much credit and expecting Jews to be honest. Someone says, great, I love Hitler. Someone says they love the watermelon people. Then they're talking about rape. It was a lot of bullshit, a lot of stuff. Now, my take was, I'm not surprised that these young Republicans are talking like that in a group chat. They used the N word. I think it was something like over 200 times. Someone said, I'm ready to watch people burn now. Like, just crazy shit, to be saying, number one, and two, to be putting in a group chat. Now, why do I bring that up? Someone came out and apologized, okay? But what they said, and this is the shit that gets me, it was, here it is. I am so sorry to those offended by the insensitive and inexcusable language found within more than 28,000 messages of a private group chat that I created during my campaign to lead Young Republicans. So this is, what the fuck's this guy's name? Giunta. I don't know who the fuck he is, but someone who was running, had this a Young Republican group chat. He says, while I take complete responsibility, I have had no way of verifying their accuracy, and I am deeply concerned that the message logs and questions may have been deceptively doctored. So a couple things. One, they weren't deceptively fucking doctored. And notice how he apologized to those who are offended for the insensitive and inexcusable language. And the issue is not the language. The issue is, why are these motherfuckers using that language? Because they're racist fucks. I mean, it's not the language. It's not we were just joking. Oh, it's just locker room talk. No, it's not. It's bullshit. I think, being someone that has grown up in a very diverse area, of a lot of friends of different, all shades and colors. Let's put it that way. Among your friends, have we joked about racial things to each other? Sure, 100%. But not. This is different. This is not people among their friends who are comfortable saying things to each other back and forth, joking around. This is a bunch of people saying things about other groups of people that are not involved in this group chat. And again, I don't, the apology is a joke. It's, hey, the language, and they could have been doctored. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Anyways, moving on from that. So, let's talk about some wrestling stuff. This past weekend was Crown Jewel down in Australia. I thought it was a pretty good show. I was shocked that Reigns lost to Bronson Reed, but it made sense. I said this last week, and I'm gonna double down. I really, really hope we're getting a true tribal chief back, a heel Reigns, because the good guy Reigns just, I feel like right now it's okay, but I feel like it's gonna get old really fucking quick. And when he lost, and he lost it on the Usos, and he said, "I don't want to see y'all till Christmas." I'm seeing shades of that old Roman Reigns, so I'm hoping we're getting that back. The Cena AJ match was, I mean, no pun intended, it was phenomenal. I love the. Now I hope they don't. I say this with hesitation because I liked him paying homage to a lot of his past opponents and using their moves. I love the finish, how he gives AJ, he being Cena, a tombstone, Undertaker's tombstone power driver before the AA, before finishing him off. That was cool. It just for so many reasons. One, yes, Cena and Undertaker have had their matches in the past, but also AJ, or I'm sorry, Undertaker's last match against AJ, it that was actually a really good match. It was during COVID, but Undertaker beat AJ. I believe he gave him a tombstone, and Cena used the tombstone to finish him off. So I like that. I thought it was pretty cool. The Seth, and I actually fell asleep watching the Seth and Cody match. I know what happens, but I bring that up to talk about what happened Monday. Monday, the Vision imploded. Braun Breaker snaps, spears Rollins. Rollins is out. Now, the talk of the town right now is Rollins is legitimately hurt. He supposedly hurt his shoulder in that match, in the match with Cody. So that is why a lot of people believe that they did the turn this past week. They wanted to speed that up. Supposedly it was in the works anyways, but because of it was part of the plan anyways. Braun is they're building Braun Breaker up to potentially be the next Roman Reigns-esque character. But they weren't planning on doing this turn this soon due to Rollins' injury. They kind of sped it up. Now, of course, we just saw him fake an injury at Saturday Night Main Event earlier this year, and then return at SummerSlam to cash in on Punk. So I'm sure there's people going. I've seen comments of, yeah, is this just another fake injury? I don't know that this one is. I really don't. The alleged plan for WrestleMania next year, which may be in jeopardy now depending on this injury, was a Seth Roman Reigns match, which I've said this before. I think that those two, they always have phenomenal matches, number one, but they've not had a WrestleMania classic. I look at those two could have Rock an Austin level of WrestleMania main events. They are, Reigns is Reigns. He's carried this era of WWE, and Rollins has been that workhorse the entire time. You could argue he's helped carry it. I'm glad that they've only wrestled a handful of times in big matches, because it's like we're they're saving that, I guess. But I would have loved to see that WrestleMania 42, but we will see. We'll find out what happens on that. I saw Jason and Travis Kelce. They do a podcast, and they had The Rock on this past week. And I guess I was reminded of something. Funny shit is, I went to WrestleMania 40, and I have almost no recollection of Travis Kelce being in a match. And he was in a tag team match with Rey Mysterio, Andrade, and he teamed up, or maybe he wasn't in the match. Maybe he just jumped in somehow and interfered. But anyways, Rock gave him credit, 9.9 for whatever he did at WrestleMania. But that's not why I bring this up. I bring this up because these two were talking about potentially wrestling, or maybe it was Jason. Am I fucking this all up? Okay, Jason Kelce was part of it. Yep. Anyways, Rock asked Travis if he had any desire to step into a WWE ring, and he says this: listen, when the opportunity presents itself, I'll dive in there. I've been dreaming of this, been working on my moves in the living room for years, trying to get my chance, and I'm more of an aerial act, though I'm off the ropes, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, I actually think that, he's pretty much cooked as a football player, so might as well hang it up. But I think that Travis would, either one of them, honestly, I think they would make a good WWE wrestler. I think that would transition. They're charismatic. They're funny. They're big dudes. Now, can they learn to wrestle? It's based off of the recent celebrities that have made that jump to wrestle. Speaking of Bad Bunny had a amazing match with Damian Priest in Puerto Rico, which is part of the U.S., in case you didn't know that. At Backlash, the crowd went fucking crazy when he came out, but he had a really, really, really good match. And then Logan Paul's transition. Say what you want about Logan Paul, but the dude's legit when it comes to being a WWE superstar. I think he still needs some promo work. I think he's, average, but when the bell rings, the dude puts on a performance. He knows how to work a match. He knows how to sell. He's an amazing athlete. So I say all that to say, I think WWE has been doing a good job with those celebrities that transition into the ring. So why not, do the same with Travis Kelce or Jason Kelce, either or. So we're gonna do it's just me. We're gonna do a respond later on, but I know a lot of you guys was talking about music last week, and even on the live last Friday, he was playing some music. Shout out to everybody that came out to the live. The live this week, I think, is going to be a little bit earlier than usual, so stay tuned. But a lot of you guys are hip hop fans. A lot of you guys are fans of Nas. Nas is one of my all-time favorite rappers. Now, here's a good one for the chat. Drop in the chat your top 5 favorite, if you're a hip hop fan, your top 5 favorite hip hop producers, and I'm going to give mine after I give you this piece of news right here. So one of mine is, actually, I'll do mine right now, and then we'll get into this news. So top 5, and I didn't even think about this beforehand, so I got to make sure I got 5. Let's see. All right, I'll just go. So in no particular order, because I didn't even think about this until a few seconds ago. Here are 5 of my all-time favorite hip hop producers. I'm gonna say RZA from Wu-Tang. He's one. Dr. Dre, one of my all-time favorites. He's probably 1 or 2. Timbaland, he is amazing. I'm going to say Kanye West, believe it or not. I know he's fucking batshit crazy, but he is still one of the all-time great producers. And last but not least is my boy DJ Premier. I love Primo. Primo's probably, if I did rank him, I think number one would be Dre, two would be Primo, three would be RZA. No, probably Kanye, RZA, and then Timbaland. DJ Premier. Now I'm a East Coast. I don't know. I say I'm an East Coast guy. I'm born on the East Coast, so. But I do love the boom bap sound. I do love the chops. I do respect DJs and what they can do with on the ones and twos. So Primo, one of my all-time favorites. I'm a big fan of Prime. Prime, not the fucking Logan Paul drink, but Prime, the group, DJ Premier, and Royce da 5'9". There's two albums. The first one is far superior than the second one. But two amazing albums. So DJ Premier, Nas, they've worked together in the past. Primo produced New York State of Mind, Represent, and Memory Lane from Illmatic, the greatest hip hop album of all time, in my humble opinion. He also produced Nas Is Like, one of my all time favorite Nas songs. I believe there's a few others, but those are the biggest ones. And last year, they came out with a song called Define My Name. And at the end of that song, or somewhere in that song, Nas said it's album time. So a DJ Premier Nas album has been rumored for fucking forever. And this is, if you're a hip hop fan, you know how this shit works. Collab albums are rumored. There was a J. Cole Kendrick album rumored for so long, which obviously we never got. So Mass Appeal, that's the label. They teased this release date recently. Funny thing is, it was at a panel at New York Comic Con. So, for those, the one fucking assholes like talk about comics. Well, I guess technically I'm talking about comics because this album was teased at New York Comic Con last weekend. They were promoting the Legend Has It comic book partnership between Mass Appeal and Marvel. And there's a release schedule for the remaining Legend Has It releases. So I guess Legend Has It is a series of album releases. There's a Slick Rick album. There's a Ghostface album, Raekwon, Mobb Deep, Big L, De La Soul, and now Nas and DJ Premier. So according to what they said at the Comic-Con, Big L's Harlem's Finest, Return of the King, drops on October 31st. So a nice Halloween present. De La Soul's Cabin in the Sky will be released in November. And Nas and Primo's album is set to arrive in December. No title has been announced for that project yet. But Nas says, I can't wait for the people to finally hear it. I don't know about anyone else, but for me and him, it was personally a long time coming for us to do it. So, I'm hyped for that. Nas is someone who had a career resurgence in the last few years or since COVID. He came out with King's Disease. I want to say it was 2019 possibly. But then he put out 6 albums over the span of the last few years, starting with King's Disease. Put out King's Disease 2. He put out Magic, put out King's Disease 3, and then Magic 2 and Magic 3. But honestly, 6 really, really good albums. Some are obviously better than others, but they're phenomenal, especially for someone at that stage in his career where, you can say he's past his prime from at least a popularity standpoint, but holy shit, 6 quality albums. So I'm hyped for this. In other music news, D'Angelo, the R&B soul singer, passed away this past week, 51 years old. It's crazy. He had pancreatic cancer. Let's see. Y'all probably know him. If you do know him, his biggest song was Untitled, How Does It Feel? We all remember that video where he's fucking butt-ass naked the whole time for some reason. I'm sure the girls loved it. So he passed away this past week, 51 years old. A lot of other artists, shouted him out. Doja Cat, Missy Elliott, Jennifer Hudson, even Tyler the Creator says his musical DNA was shaped by D'Angelo. I don't know if that's just glaze because there's nothing about Tyler the Creator that tells me his musical DNA was shaped by D'Angelo. But I like some D'Angelo stuff. I mean, definitely Untitled, Brown Sugar. I remember that. That was on the Belly soundtrack. Belly is a movie. Please let me know if y'all have seen this. Do you like Belly, bro? Man, I feel like this is right up your alley. I love this movie. I've seen this movie. This is a movie that I've seen more than most movies. And Nas is in it. Nas actually was a decent actor. DMX did his thing in this. It's one of my favorite movies. I said that about a lot of movies though. So, anyways, rest in peace, D'Angelo. I'm sorry to hear that he passed this past week. In other music news, your boy Diddy, he is ordered to hand over the Freak Off tape. So, there's a couple things about his release. Well, not his release. What he needs to do when he gets released. But before that, he's been ordered to hand over his infamous Freak Off tapes. As part of the terms of his recent sentencing in a federal prostitution case. So we know that he's got 50 months federal prison time. He must relinquish various digital and physical items containing footage of sexual acts involving Combs and others. He also must fork over the $9,000 in cash found on him when he got arrested in 2024. Now these items, they're in custody of U.S. Customs, Border Protection, including multiple laptops, hard drives, USB sticks, iPhones, iPads, and notably the Ibiza tapes, a collection of footage recorded during a 1996 trip to the island of Ibiza. They confiscated all this shit. Why I brought this up is not because I just, love to give you guys a Diddy update. It is, Adrian said this, his theory, his tinfoil talker, put a tinfoil hat on for this one, I guess. He said that he believed that it was never about Diddy. It was about, I guess, essentially, he didn't say this, but essentially these tapes, essentially it was about the information he had on other people, which leads me to believe that based off of some of these stipulations. Now, I guess maybe this is normal protocol. I don't know. I've never been arrested for prostitution and things like that. So the only times I've ever been arrested, it was for driving a car that was unregistered and not having insurance all at the same time. And I was just out trying to sell some life insurance. But anyway, shit happens. So I don't know if this is standard protocol or not, but it does at least play into that theory of, maybe it wasn't just about Diddy. Maybe they really didn't give a fuck about him, but the Cassie stuff gave them an in to allow them to take all this shit from him. And now we'll never see who's on these tapes, and it'll be the next Epstein files. So some of the requirements for his release when he is done with these 50 months, he will have to work around, or these are the conditions he'll have to work around once he begins his 5 years of supervised release. So he's in a 5 year supervised release. He will, and this is after the 50 months in prison, he will have to submit to searches and avoid contact with the victims in his case once he gets out. So he can't go chase down Cassie or the other girl or even Kid Cudi. He will have to participate in outpatient treatment programs for drug abuse and mental health issues, and must participate in an approved program for domestic violence. He's already accrued 13 months of time, and he will also have to pay a $500,000 fine. So, but I mean, it honestly sounds almost like a slap on the wrist for, I guess, the things he was accused of. So anyway, moving on. Other musical news. So Britney Spears Um, we've actually ironically never talked about Britney Spears on any of the podcast. She just reacted to Kevin Federline's claim that he made in his book. So celebrity. Well, I don't even know if you can call Kevin a celebrity. I mean, he was celebrity status because of Britney Spears, and I think that what do celebrities do a lot of times when they're trying to hang on to their fame or they need to cash in? They fucking write a book. They write a tell-all book, right? Tell everything that fucking happened. I'm gonna tell you. Well, he wrote a book, and one of the things that he claimed in this book, a lot of, I guess, what he's claiming in this book paints Britney in a bad light. He says this: they would awaken sometimes at night to find her standing silently in the doorway, watching them sleep. He's talking about the kids. They had kids together. And supposedly she would be standing there with a knife in her hand. So they would, watching them sleep. Oh, you're awake with a knife in her hand, he alleges in his memoir. And then she'd turn around and pad off without explanation. Crazy thing to say about someone if it's not true. Now, her response was, it wasn't really her response. It was her, I guess, her team. They said this: with news from Kevin's book breaking, once again, he and others are profiting off her. And sadly, it comes after child support has ended with Kevin. All she cares about are her kids, Sean Preston and Jaden James, and their well-being. During this sensationalism, she detailed her journey in her memoir, which came out in 2023, The Woman in Me. I don't know, man. I mean, that's a crazy fucking claim to say that she was standing watching her kids sleep with a knife in her hand. It does kind of sound like, because here's my thing. If that's what she was really doing, those are your kids, she's your wife, you saw it, why the fuck didn't you do something about it then? Why the fuck didn't you tell someone about it then? It's like, oh, well, it's my wife and this. Okay, but if you believe your kids are in danger because of some shit she's doing, I think it's your obligation to fucking do something about it. It's kind of like when one of the spouses, has an addiction issue, they're an alcoholic or something, and because of that, they're causing harm to the kids or the other spouse, and nothing is said about it until long after, till they get divorced, till this, like, dude, you were allowing that to happen for so long. Now that y'all have split up, now it's a problem. Now you want to say something. So I don't know. I kind of, it's a crazy claim. I almost want to call bullshit on it. The timing of it seems odd. You put out this book, and what's going to sell the book? Because nobody gives a fuck about what Kevin Federline has to say unless he's saying some crazy ass shit about Britney Spears. And they were married for 3 years, 04 to 07. So I don't know. I feel like, dude, if this was really happening, you should have said something then, bro, not fucking almost 20 years later. Speaking of lying, did y'all see Alec Baldwin crash his car? Now, he's not lying about crashing his car, but he said that a garbage truck the size of a whale cut him off. So he's driving out in the Bay Shore, New York, in East Hampton, Long Island. Garbage truck, size of a whale, supposedly, cuts him off, and he crashes into a tree. Now, the thing about lying in 2025, there's a good chance that if you did something in public that you're lying about, someone may have this on camera. So that's kind of what happened here. The garbage truck had a dash cam. I saw the video. I don't know if y'all saw this. You can find it just about anywhere. You see the garbage truck pull out into the main road. You see him driving down. It's a one-lane road, okay? And the garbage truck begins to slow down. I'm assuming it's stopping to pick up some garbage. It's one lane. And then you see an SUV come along the right side. So you got the garbage truck here. Let's do this. Garbage truck here. SUV's over here. So garbage truck's going. The SUV just kind of comes out, pulls over into someone's yard, and hits a fucking tree. The garbage truck didn't cut nobody off. He was on the main road. What it kind of looked like was the garbage truck slowing down, and I think it looked like Alec Baldwin went to go around him, but then not realizing that the fucking truck was stopping, so he goes around him too much and crashes into a tree. Now, Alec Baldwin and his brother, they both were in the car. They both were fine. So maybe they weren't going that fast. And this was in the afternoon, like 12 in the afternoon. So it's just funny that, he came out and said, oh, a truck the size of a whale cut me off. And the video kind of says otherwise. Anyway, speaking of crazy shit, last week we talked a little bit about we talked about Frank. Who the fuck's Frank? Mark Sanchez. I got a Mark Sanchez update for you. So, two people put out statements about what happened. One was Mark Sanchez. The other was his ex-wife, the mother of his children. She said, I am aware of the serious criminal charges currently facing my son's father, Mark Sanchez. My foremost priority has always been and remains our 8-year-old son, Daniel. I chose to remain silent publicly to protect Daniel. Showed this on an Instagram story on Sunday. Now that everything is out in the open, my focus hasn't changed. I've always been concerned for his safety and for what he is exposed to. Sadly, none of this is surprising to me, she added. It's like the third or fourth person that's like not surprised. Kind of like I wasn't surprised by the young Republicans' racism. These people are not surprised by Mark Sanchez's, I guess, drunken fucking attack. She went on to say that she learned about the horrific event through a news alert on her phone while sitting next to her son. That sucks. Adding that her thoughts are with the other man involved in the attack. I love that. My thoughts ain't with you, motherfucker. They're with the other man involved, as they should be, because he's pretty fucked up. Mark Sanchez was also released from the hospital on Sunday, and he spoke out publicly for the first time since last week's violent incident. Here is what he had to say. Right now, I am just kind of focused on my recovery. I want to thank the first responders, the hospital, Marion County Sheriff, and the Indianapolis Police Department, Metro PD. Sanchez said, according to the video posted by Max Lewis, but I'm focused on my recovery, and I just want to see my wife. I want to see my son, my baby girls. He didn't comment on the charges or anything. He's facing right now a level 5 felony battery charge and unlawful entry of a motor vehicle and public intoxication. He also says, I guess the real thing here is I just want to thank Dr. Mosler, the surgeon. She saved my life. I'm so grateful. So, I mean, listen, I'm glad that surgery went well. I'm glad that he survived. But I feel like go get some help, dude. This ain't, you're almost 40. When I was like underage, like when I was like 15, 16, we would get blackout drunk. We would do that shit. But at almost 40 years old, bro, have some respect for yourself. Like, you're out there, you're living a lot of people's dreams. You're an ex-quarterback, and now you're getting paid to fly around the country, sometimes the world. There's overseas games. I don't know if he's ever gone to one of those, but you're getting paid to fly around the country every single week and commentate on NFL football games, and your bitch ass is out there getting so fucking drunk that you attack a 69-year-old man. Dude, fucking have some respect for yourself, please. What else? So lately, you know what? We talk a lot about comic book stuff, obviously on Only Comics. We've been talking a lot about movies. My daughter, who is 13, just decided to start watching the Star Wars movies again. So I was a big Star Wars guy growing up. More of the original trilogy. I remember when the prequels came out. I wasn't crazy about them. So I decided, you know what? You're rewatching them. Let's rewatch them. I have not seen these movies in a long time. I've been off Star Wars for a while. So first of all, what are y'all thoughts on Star Wars? How many Star Wars fans do we got that watch this? I am starting at the prequel. So if y'all do a rewatch, where do you start? Do you watch them in release order? Do you watch them in timeline order? I've done both. Right now, I'm watching them in timeline order. So far, I've watched 2. I've seen episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I've seen episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And what I'm going to do right now is a little bit of what the fuck Rotten Tomatoes. So now, episode 1, this movie, I believe that this is the absolute worst fucking Star Wars movie, period. It doesn't get much worse than this. This was a bad movie. Maybe it's worse because of the build-up for this movie. I mean, this movie came out in 99. Return of the Jedi. Let me see when. I want to say that came out in 83. Let's see if I'm right. Yep, 1983. So, 99, we're talking, 16 years later. It seemed like a lot longer at the time, but Return of the Jedi. So we waited 16 fucking years for this movie, and I think it was a shit show. Jar Jar Binks is annoying as shit. The whole beginning of the movie, honestly, it's boring up until the point where we meet Anakin and the whole pod race and all that. But outside of that, I don't think there's anything halfway decent in this fucking movie. Darth Maul was cool, but he don't say shit. He's in like 2 fights and he's gone. This movie on Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it a 54%. The audience gave it a 59%. I think both of those are crazy high. This movie, in my opinion, is like a 3 out of 10. This, as much as I'm a Star Wars fan, I am not a fan of this movie. Now, episode 2, this movie is one that I actually remember it being worse than it actually is. So I rewatched this again, first time in a long time. And I got to tell you, I did not dislike this movie. I thought it was a lot better than I remember it. Some of the fight scenes were awesome. I liked the whole clones, Jango Fett, that whole storyline. Of course, you got Windu chops off his fucking head right in front of his kid. Pretty savage. Some pretty savage shit in these movies. So this movie on Rotten Tomatoes, critic score, Star Wars Episode 2, a 62%. And the audience score, a 56%. So very close. Do I think these are accurate? Like, would I agree with these? Yeah, I would probably lean. I mean, a few points apart, but I'd lean towards the critic score. I think a 6 for this movie. Actually, 6 is kind of good. Yeah, I'd say 5.5 or 6. So it still would not be one of my favorite Star Wars movies, but there's a good size gap between Episode 1 and Episode 2. So y'all let me know, are you guys Star Wars fans? What did you think of those 2? Are you prequels, new, or OG trilogy, the sequel trilogy? That's one where I'm going to re-rank my Star Wars movies when I'm done with this rewatch. I'm wondering if I'm going to put any of the prequels above the sequels. The sequels, the Force Awakens was a phenomenal movie. The Last Jedi, it was okay. I didn't hate it as much as most people. And Rise of Skywalker, I thought was a shit show, but still not as bad as Episode 1. So, Star Wars, let me know what y'all think. All right, let's respond to some comments and wrap this thing up. So, we got OG Dirte. Love the new content. I'm going to let you know I can talk about movies all day. All right, OG, what do you think about Star Wars? I've been thinking about what's happening at the movies, at the box office, and I think social media has ruined the illusion of movies. There used to be a time where you would find out how good a movie was by watching it. Yeah. Now, when a movie gets a bad review, it's over with. Half of the people who review movies, content creators, probably never seen the movie anyway, or they're being paid to say the movie was good. I agree. You see it a lot in the comic book world. Like, I know there's no way that everybody that creates content has seen every fucking thing. Y'all are lying. You're lying about shit. There's no fucking way. It definitely has ruined it. Also, just, I mean, it's a whole different setting now. Like, the box office, the movies are in and out of the theater so quick now. I mean, you got to remember, I think, OG, you're my age or maybe a little bit older. When we were kids, the movie would come out in the theater. It would be a year or more before that movie even was available to rent, let alone purchase. You rent the movie, Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, wherever the fuck you went. And then after that, it would take another probably 3 to 6 months before you could actually buy that movie. Nowadays, what we saw with Superman, shit was like 5 weeks. That's just funny, too. People talk shit about, oh, well, Superman bombed. Dude, it did $600 million in like 5 weeks. That's not a bomb, dude. Well, Man of Steel. Yeah, Man of Steel was probably in the movies for 9 months, and it fucking sucked. The Captain Canada, who the hell delivers at 12 a.m.? Bro, you got to get that working, bro. Philip Ferguson says, I didn't think The Rock had it in him. He was great. Yeah, dude, Smashing Machine. That was a piece of news I didn't talk about. Christopher Nolan came out and said that he basically endorsed The Rock, said that I don't know that we will see a better performance in a movie this year. So big praise from Nolan. But yeah, Rock killed it. That dude Pablo says, say it louder for the people in the back, bro. I think he was talking about my America speech last week. Top 5 genres. Hip hop, I lean more towards underground than pop rap. Yeah, definitely. Blues and Motown are a tie. Some Al Green, Temptations. Okay. Something my mom would listen to on Making Us Clean on Sundays. 3, I got to go late 90s alternative, Matchbox 20, Alanis Morissette type shit. Yes, I got a big-ass 90s alternative playlist. Punk, Annie and all punk rock. Okay. And classic soulful rock, Clapton, Leonard, CCR. Variety is the spice of love. Good music is good music. I could not agree more. Jesus Barbosa says, thanks for the video, amigo. For Halloween movies, I endorse Wolf, circa 1994, Witches from Eastwick. Oh, you're going old school. I would throw a show that was top of the game going back to classic monsters, and I assure you it will surprise you. Penny Dreadful. I don't even know what that is. 3 seasons, pure horror. From witches to werewolves, it's all in there. Level of gothic show. Enjoy the scares. Captain Canada says, music genres for me, 80s rock, 90s grunge, pop rock, indie, some folk, and some hip-hop. Okay. OG also says, for me, if I were to go to see a movie, I would just go see the movie. If I think the movie is not good, I don't watch it. I could care less what a movie makes. Or yeah, I hear you. I can see one trailer of a movie and tell if I want to see it or not. Joker 2 will never be seen by me. I will watch a Smashing Machine, but probably wait for it to come to a streaming service. If they keep going on these streaming services, people are going to stop going to movies. Yeah, I do think the landscape has changed. But I mean, there's money to be made in streaming and digital sales, so it's all not about the box office. OG also says the sad part is most people don't know the government controls everything we eat, the things we watch, the clothes we wear, the water we drink, the phones we talk on, especially the devil's lettuce we enjoy. Top 3 music genres are rap, gangster rap, hip hop, and honorable mention alternative rock. And Captain Canada had to rub it in. He said, Mike, take that hat off, bro. I'm going to send you a Jays hat. You actually look like the Blue Jays manager. Fuck the Blue Jays. No, you know what? Fuck the Yankees. They fucking lost at home. Like, it's actually sad. As a Yankees fan, it's sad to watch. 2 years in a row, you lose in the playoffs at home. Some other team celebrating in Yankee Stadium. It is fucking disgraceful. I think George Steinbrenner's rolling over in his grave. The old man George would have never let this shit happen. And Bro Man Williams, I actually answered this on the live, but he says, got a question, would you prefer blunts or joints? I'm a full-fledged blunt guy exclusively. I hate joints. That's old people shit. Dude, I love them. I actually been off blunts. That's 20-year-old shit for me. I'm straight up joints all the time, every day. So anyways, all right. Well, appreciate y'all watching. Drop some comments, subscribe if you haven't already. We will be here every single week. Well, I will be here every single week on Mic Check. Don't miss tomorrow. We have the History Unmasked episode 2. Those of you that are interns already heard it, but I'm going to cut that out and drop it on the main channel. So let me know who are your top 5 favorite producers of all time. It actually don't have to be hip-hop, be Henry Johnson, but I think producer. And if y'all do partake answer bromance question. You a joint guy, blunt guy? What is your method? Anyways, thanks for hopping on, and I will see you next week right here on Mic Check.